turn it over.
All right, appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate your coverage of our program and players. Really excited about our win this past weekend. Happy for our guys. Proud of the way they bounced back and responded to some adversity in regards to the previous week not going the way we wanted. And I thought they handled the week really well in their preparation, and it showed during the game. Still a long way away from where I want us to be. We won the game. We did some things really well. We still have a lot of areas to grow and improve. We're not anywhere near a finished product. We left a lot of meat on the bone last Saturday, in my opinion. But having said that, I want to announce our players of the game. Offensive player of the game, Austin Stidham. He was 23 of 27 on run blocking and 29 of 31 in pass protection in regards to attacking things the right way from an execution and detailed technique and finish standpoint. So Austin's the offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game, not real hard to figure this one out. Probably Carlton Marshall, 18 tackles, is now the all-time leader in the Sun Belt for tackles in a career. Just a tremendous effort by him, and coming off of being out for a week. Really proud of what he was able to do. Special teams player of the game, Brooks Buse, scored 10 points in the game. Obviously hit his extra point, then made 3 field goals that were critical. That last one was big time, up 13-7, and hit one that really helped clinch the game for us. So those are our players of the game. Job takers or scout team players of the week. Defensively, Christian Murphy. Offensively, Tyler Cappy. And the special teams job taker of the week is Jaden Warren. The service award in honor of Nathan Harris and John Johnson is Rajay Johnson this week. Rajay helped out in the extra yard for teachers last week and did some service at the local schools. And then the Corey McCullers Spirit Award is this week. We're naming it for 2 guys, giving it to 2 guys, both of them who last week underwent some medical stuff that they're going to be out for the foreseeable future. Don't really have a return on either one of them timeline yet. Lewis Medina and Jaden McDonald, who both were injured during the App State game and then were unable to play this week and are currently going to be out for a little while. Don't have a hard timeline on their return. So hopefully it's soon, but it could be significant in regards to the time that they're out. So those guys are the award winners for the week. Proud of their contributions to our team. Really kind of recapping the game quickly. Offensively, like I said, we moved the ball. We hit explosive plays. DK had a 44-yard run. We had 3 pass plays that went for over 50. Thought we were very productive and explosive plays. The way that they played the game, they challenge you in every play you want to make close to the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're very aggressive in attacking and how they play the game in the secondary and at the linebacker position. They're sometimes going to snuff you out and create a lot of negative plays or 0-yardage plays. In turn, we knew we had to create some explosive plays, and we did that. I'm really disappointed in how we did not finish a couple of those drives in the first half. We had opportunities to put the ball in the end zone twice, and then one time just got beaten pass pro, and they got the ball off a gunner, and that really wasn't a gunner issue. That was the timing was so fast. We didn't even hardly touch the guy that was the pass rusher there, so that's got to be fixed. And then the fumble that happened where we did not catch the ball in the toss play, we've got to get that corrected. So we got to protect the ball better and finish drives if we want to win the type of games we want to win in the long haul here. So, but did move the ball really well. Defensively, and going back to moving the ball really well, we had 421 yards versus a defense that was giving up, I believe, 260, and they were top 25 in the country going into the game. So really productive versus a quality defense. Defensively, our defense, we only allowed 174 yards versus an offense that was averaging over 500 per game coming into the game. We gave up 96 net yards rushing versus a team that was averaging 260 there as well, and 6th in the country coming into the game. They averaged 2 yards per carry. thought our defense did some really good things. Don't think we're a finished product there either, though. I think we got to still leverage the ball better at times. We got to play much better technique. There are some areas where I thought our opponent could have capitalized on some things that we did not do well in coverage, and we got away with some things that we got to clean up really quickly, or it's going to get exposed. So, but thought we did a good job of swarming to the ball, and we tackled the ball carrier much better than we did the previous week, and didn't allow leaky yardage or the ball carrier to fall forward as much as we did in the previous game. And then special teams, like I said, field goal executed really well. The field goal block before halftime, man, critical play. Like we're up 10-0. They think they're going to get a field goal there right before the half and make it a one-score game. We actually installed that block special for this game. Credit to our coaches, and they called it at the right time. So we're able to keep them off the scoreboard with that field goal block, which was a critical moment in the game. Well, I think we got to punt the ball a little bit better. We've punted the ball really well all year. Mike Rivers has been booming it. I think we got to be a little bit cleaner there, and he'll bounce back and improve. But all in all, proud of our guys for finding a way to get the win. Wasn't as clean as I'd like in some areas, but I'm not going to apologize for a whenever. You know, that's a team that 2 weeks ago from when we played them, I was maybe a little bit disgruntled after we won our Alabama A&M game because of how we played the game. That same day, the team we just beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. All right, so I think our team is growing. I think we're improving. I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we have a long way to go still. I don't think we're anywhere near what our full capacity is as a program or as a team yet. Looking ahead, really challenging opponent. Western Kentucky last year played in the Conference USA Championship game. They finished the year 9-5. So played the conference championship game and lost to Louisiana Lafayette in the bowl game. But really high octane offense. They're 3-1 on the year. Only lost to Indiana in overtime. They were up by, I believe, 10 points late in that game. They could very, very, very easily be 4-0. They are explosive offensively. You look at them, they're averaging 47.5 points per game scoring offense, which is sixth in the country. All right, they scored 73 points last week. 507 yards per game in total offense, which is 11th in the country. 338 passing per game, which is 11th in the country as well. They run the ball pretty well. I mean, to be a high-octane passing offense, they average 168 yards rushing a game, which is 62nd in the country. So dangerous offensively, a lot of good weapons. Slot receivers stick out. Number 11 and number 4 are dynamic playmakers. I think the most explosive playmakers that we've seen from a receiver standpoint all year. They've got a big guy, number 7, who's good competing for the ball. The running backs, they play 3 guys who are all quality. Their offensive line is physical, and they do a good job. So really impressed with them personnel-wise, and also impressed with how they run the offense. Tyson Helton, the head coach, is an offensive guy, and they challenge you. Very similar structurally to what we saw from Ole Miss from an offensive standpoint in week 1 and how they run the offense. So huge challenge for our defensive guys this week. From our offensive perspective, looking at their defense, they're second in the Conference USA in scoring defense right now and 37th in the country. They only give up 19 points a game. In total defense, they're giving up 337, which is also good for second in Conference USA. And in run defense, they're only giving up 108 yards rushing per game, which is second in their conference as well. So really quality team defensively. Tyson Summers is their defensive coordinator, longtime defensive coach, does a good job that I've known and followed for a long time, coached against him a few times. They're multiple. They do a lot of different things to stress you. Their front really sticks out. They're big, physical, and athletic on the D-line. Their two starting linebackers are SEC transfers, one from Tennessee and one from Georgia. They're both really good players. I actually recruited both of them out of high school and remember them both well. And then in the secondary, they got playmakers. So they're talented. Will be a lot of, a formidable challenge, like I said, on both sides of the ball. In the kicking game, they're very sound. They do a lot of good things. Last year they hit 3 surprise onsides and got them all. So they'll take some risks in the kicking game, but they are very, very sound and do things the right way. I think this is as well of a coach team as we're going to play this year from what I've seen. I got a lot of respect for how they're playing the game, and like I said, they're 12-6, I believe, in their last 18 games, 3-1 this year, and could very well be undefeated. So, having said all that, I'll open it up to questions.
Hey, John, this might be kind of a strange question, but I know you got plenty of film on Western Kentucky and know about him, but having the guy that was there during the preseason like Jarrett was, will y'all rely on him some for game preparation?
Yeah, I'll probably talk to him this week a couple of times. We might talk, but now he's never played in a game there. You know, I mean, he knows some of what they're doing, but he's not going to be wearing their headset on game day, giving us what play they're calling. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a guy that has seen, you know, how they run their system, that's been there and done it. But we don't have any like inside information that's going to tip us off to what's coming to win. But he is able to maybe talk us through how they convert some of their routes or what their mechanics are and some of their stuff. But we'll definitely, like, I'm not going to build our game plan around Jarrett's information, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that we got a guy that, you know, practiced with him this season.
Sumrall, this is Jamal from WSFA. You mentioned the absence of Lewis and Jaden for the foreseeable future. How do you think that's going to affect you? Because those are two big leaders here going into this game against Western.
Well, they didn't play this past week, so they were both injured the previous game. You know, both those kids play the game the right way with great effort, energy, enthusiasm, and passion for the game, and both of them were playing really good football. And so it stinks for them. I hate it for them. Those young men are important to our program, and we care deeply about them. And nothing changes in regards to how we feel about them, but we do have to respond without having them available. I mentioned this last week. There is a next man up mentality. We got to get other guys ready to play then, and we did last week. I mean, I think you saw Jordan Stringer and Terry Thomas play a few more snaps at linebacker. We've got the ability to play Shaquille Brown and Cholo and A.J. Pierce and other guys that knows behind Buddha. So we're currently in the process of just making sure we're cross-training players really amongst different position groups. Like the D-line group, you can't just be a one-spot guy. You have to be an and guy. So I can play boundary end and nose, or I can play field end like we've asked Javon Solomon to do, and bandit. So we've got to create depth by guys cross-training and being able to play more spots. But hate it for those guys. Look forward to them being able to fully return. But they've been around, practice, and kept the energy high. And I know they're going to attack rehab and respond the right way to the process they're facing.
Hey, Coach, do you have any updates on the other guys that are injured other than Police and
Yeah, I mean, you got any specific? I mean, we should be full capacity. DeUncre, looks really good. I just saw him about an hour ago. I think he'd be questionable this week. I think he'll probably make the trip, but I think he's got a chance in the next, 2 weeks for sure. Don't know. This week, I'm not confident in him going this week per se, but at the same time, it's Monday. But he's responding well, and I think might be ahead of schedule or a better prognosis than maybe anticipated a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, there was a concern maybe it could be 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It might be, ending up being like 3 to 4 weeks at most. So he might be back. Don't know about this week, but I think he'll be back in the next week or two.
As you mentioned Solomon and playing those defensive ends and bandit, we've seen this year more him and Junior off the field a lot. What does that give to the defense? Because both your best pass rushers at the same time.
Yeah, we constantly when it's third down, I don't want to see both those guys stand next to me, right? Like I want both those guys on the field. Now there is two things you have to kind of make sure you're doing the right way. One, are they mentally capable of doing as much as we're asking them to do? And really it currently requires a little bit more of Javon because he's cross-training more than Richard in regards to having to know more than one spot. And then two, you don't want to thin yourself out depth-wise at Bandit by overworking Javon everywhere else. But there are some critical situations within a game where I'd like to see both of them on the field, and so trying to get that into action more and more when we can. Also, like you referenced, like T.J. Jackson's really stepped up and played well at field end. Cholo's playing good at the boundary. Buddha right now is playing at a high level at nose. So we don't want to just throw Javon out there more just to say we did, but we need to pick how much and when we do to get the most out of both of those guys' value and ability, and in particular when they can rush the passer together, they can present a problem for the opponent.
Coach, your two previous road atmospheres, Ole Miss, App State, pretty tough environments. How do you think those have prepared you guys going into this week, going into to Western?
Yeah, to be honest, the App State environment felt like an SEC game. I mean, I've played plenty of those games as a coach and as a player. The App State environment was a big-time environment. I don't know what the environment's going to be like on Saturday. I've never played at Western Kentucky. I don't think we can allow any environment to control our perspective on how we play the game. I've referenced a lot, but you get 12 regular season opportunities. Every week you got to bring your own juice. And I don't care if you're playing in an SEC venue or you're playing wherever. You got to bring your own juice and energy, and that's my job to make sure our guys are excited about playing whoever we play, wherever we play. And whenever we play, if they decide to make us play on Tuesday night, I got to get us ready for Tuesday. And if we play in a parking lot, I got to be ready to play in a parking lot. So I think we've been through some good environments. I think our guys will be prepared to play.
And then even though you said your running game wasn't really up to your standard, you still reached the 100-yard mark. How encouraging is that, though, that you were able to get there, even though you said it wasn't your best effort?
Yeah, we've seen improvement. We've seen growth. I challenged our backs in particular last week that I had not felt like we had run with maybe some anger or physicality or toughness or grit that I want to see us run with. I think DK's been performing at a really high level. I think Kamani's done some good things, but I think we got to continue to improve in that area. And, like I said earlier, the same way we were able to create some of the shot plays in the pass game, in particular down the field, Marshall, the way they play the game, they really want to choke you out in the run game, and I felt like we did a nice job of just sticking to the plan at times. And, it was nice, too, when we were at the end of the game there, to put the game on ice with our offense on the field and not putting the defense back out. We had to finish the game. They knew we were going to run the ball. We ran the ball, and we did it really well to finish the game. I told our offensive players, do not put the defense back out right here, or I'm not going to be very happy about it. So the defensive guys had played really, really hard all game. I didn't want to put us in a situation where we had to go back out and finish the game that way. Now, if we did, we did, but we need to be able to control that and finish the game the right way. That it?
I have one more.
Yeah.
Jabri really stepped up, and he's provided, he's made some big plays for you. Can you just talk about the impact Jabri's had on the first 4 games?
Yeah, Jabri's grown a lot. He's put in the work. Usually when you work really hard, consistently day in, day out, good things happen, and I think he's a product of that. It was great to see him continue the stretch where he's played at a high level. And, I think you saw him and Tez and Marcus all have explosive plays in the pass game. But I think Jabri's, he's seeing the fruits of his labor from how he's worked and what he's put in from an effort standpoint to honing in and improving his craft.